Hi, my loves. So today I wanted to come do a quick video just to connect and share and offer support, offer guidance, and just, I guess, connect. Um, Today I don't know why I'm having like so much jitteriness and excitement in my body. But today is a really special day, and I wanted to share this moment and I wanted to record it so that I could have a memory to look back on in the future about this day. So I want to talk to you guys about a really meaningful experience that I just had. And I also wanted to pull a card for you guys, or just pull a few cards. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the Love Notes um, deck. It says the universe on love and connection. Wow, which is really what my video is about today. So yeah, these are I believe, I can't think of the word. They're not meditation cards, affirmation cards. That's what they are. These are affirmation cards on love and connection. Um so yeah, so I wanted to pull a few of these and just share an experience that I had today that I want to be able to have a a recording of, to remind me of the experience and the emotions and the feelings that I have surrounding this experience. So today is my dad's birthday, and I called him to say happy birthday to him. And I don't want to share too much of our conversation, but I really wanted to um, just give, I don't want to give too much details, but give my, sorry, that's my email, but give my perspective on the conversation and the events that kind of took place from our conversation. Um, so I'm really close to my dad and I'm really close to my mom, and we have really different relationships. I have a different relationship with my dad than I do for my mom, and my parents are no longer together. Um, but they are in their 70s and they are divorced, have been divorced for over 20 years. And they have been married for over 20 years. And today was my father's birthday, and I called him to wish him a happy birthday. And every time I call this man, he wants to know if I've talked to my mother and how my mother's doing. And today he wanted to talk to her like he always asks. And I don't know, it was different. He's his birthday, his age is 75, and I could just hear the love in his voice for wanting to talk to my mother. And I know my mother is not really interested in talking and having a conversation, but I told him that I would ask her because I felt that I should give that opportunity a chance to bud and to flourish, and to see if there was an opportunity for them to just say hi to each other. So I got off the phone with my father and I called my mother and I asked her if she was up to talking to my father. Um, he wanted to hear her voice, and today was his birthday, and how that would make her feel if she spoke to him, and that I would be there with her and just make it a three-way call versus him calling her directly, because I know that's something that she wasn't comfortable with. And she said yes. She said yes, that she would be up for the opportunity to just say happy birthday. And I said, okay, I'll call. I'll call him on three-way, and so that you guys can talk. And she held on while I called him. And obviously, I'm not going to tell the details of the conversation, but I could definitely see that there was a healing that needed to happen, just the two of them hearing their voices over the phone. And it was so powerful for me, and so healing for me too. And I didn't know that I even needed this experience. I was so protective of the two of them because I didn't want my mother to feel scared or vulnerable to talk to someone that she had been married to who hurt her in their marriage. And then I didn't want my father to be just inconsiderate and self-focused. And so even when we were on the phone, before I switched it over for all three of us to talk, I told my father, I was like, okay, be respectful and be patient, because you know, I didn't say this part, but this is just my inner thoughts. I felt that she was very vulnerable, and I didn't want him to say anything insensitive or careless. And he really didn't. He didn't say anything insensitive or anything careless. He was very, I think he was very humble, and he was very thoughtful, and he expressed himself in a way that I never saw before. And the thing is that even though my parents separated, I always knew that he still loved her. And I know that he didn't want to end the relationship or the marriage that they had. And so it was never my father's choice to separate or to get a divorce. It was my mother's, and I respect her decision. I always respected her decision. And so this conversation, this I want to say it was like a maybe like a 5 minute, 10 minute conversation between the two of them. It was very reconciliation, reconciling of emotions and hurts that they never really talked about. And they didn't talk about, like, oh, you did this to me, or I did this to you. It was more so about just knowing that each other was okay, and just honoring the life of another person. And I got to be the conduit for it. I got to be the connection to make it happen. And there's just so much love and and I can't think of the word. I think grace, um, between my parents, my father to my mother, and my mother to my father, in a way that is unspoken. And I was able to just be a part of the beginning of maybe nothing, but also maybe something new, for the two of them when it comes to healing, um, and reconciliation, and love, a new love, a different kind of love, um, a respect, a love based on respect. And it's so funny. I called my mother and I checked in with her after she heard my father's voice. And just to let you know, they haven't heard each other's voice in over 20 years. My parents got divorced when I was about 17 or 18 years old, and I'm 40 years old right now. And I losing my train of thought. But basically, I know that just the hearing of each other's voice after 20 years has an impact on both of their hearts. And um, it was just really beautiful to be able to, one, be a part of that, and to be the bridge to make it happen. And I think what I was going to say is that I've had a really tumultuous relationship with my mother, but I never gave up on our relationship, um, because I know that there's a lot of love there from me to her and from her to me, but it has been expressed in really toxic ways. And as I've gotten older, I've been able to work through the trauma of what it was like to be abused, um, by her in a way that wasn't necessarily how she wanted to, mother. So my journey with my mother has been a very, has been a very chaotic journey, and it's been an emotionally trying, chaotic journey. But I've always just held on to not being someone who would hold it against her, because I I could see her vulnerability. I could see her fear, um, and I could see her love and her passion as a mother. Her passion was being a mother, and I never wanted to give up on that for the two of us. And wow, I just pulled a really good card. Actually, I pulled two really good cards and I want to share that with you. And I'm going to pull a couple more before I close this out and read the cards to you. So back to just kind of reflecting on me and my mother's relationship, and there's a point that I'm trying to get to. So as I was saying, like I I called her to check in on her and to see how she was feeling from the conversation, because she hasn't heard her ex-husband's voice in over 20 years. So I'm sure there's some emotions there. And I wanted her to feel that she could express herself in these feelings that she might have been having. So I called back to check on her and see how she was doing. And I asked her if she would be willing to speak to him again in the future if he asked to talk to her. And she said yes, if that's something she wanted me to do. And I said, it's not up to me, like it's your decision. And I would respect it either way. And she said something that I just never knew that she felt about me. She said, I respect you, and I I want to I can't remember what she said, but she said, I respect you. She said, I respect you and I respect what you want. I think that's what she said, kind of like, I respect what you want and I respect you. And to hear that from a woman that I've just had one of the most difficult connections with in my life, it gave me a sense of, wow, like you you care about what I have to say, you care about what I think, and you're willing to be open to listening. And honestly, you guys, like my mother, when I was growing up with her, it was very much so out of the question for me to ever have a saying in anything. So my voice was very restricted in my home. And a lot of our contention was she was the authority and I was the subordinate, and I could not express my thoughts. I could not express my emotions. I could not express my perspectives or feelings. I could not challenge her. I could not speak up for myself. I always had to do as I was told in my Nigerian home. And to fast forward to 20 years, 25 years, almost 30 years, I would even say, to hearing her say, I respect you and I respect what you have to say means a lot to me. And I've just received so much from just wanting to honor my father, honor his intentions, to be able to hear the voice of someone he loves and loved for many years, just so he could finally get what he's been asking for over 20 years. And to kind of provide reconciliation and healing for my mother, because I know that there's still love there on her part. She'll never admit it or she'll never say it. She's always held a grudge against him for reasons that cannot be spoken, but she would always kind of, reflect on their love. She was never, like she was never too agitated or too upset to reflect on the experiences, her life experience that she had with him, how they met, and you know, times that they've gone through. Whenever I would ask about their life together, she was never too upset to talk about their experiences together with me. And she would have this weird way of kind of referring to him in a way that only I think I could understand, which was her way of showing that she still cares, if that makes any sense. So it's just a really beautiful, um it's just a really beautiful feeling to be a bridge and to mend a connection that was lost over 20 years ago, possibly more, maybe even 30. And today, February 4th, 2023, where the age of my father is 75 and he's moved on with his life, but he still carries my mother in his heart. And at the age of 73, for my mother, who I feel like she just wanted to be secure and independent and learn what it was like to love herself first, was able to heal from maybe false conceptions and false realities that were never the truth of their relationship. And with that, I am going to pull a couple more cards and kind of reflect on these 3 cards. So give me one moment. I'm just reading them before I share. So there's one that really sticks out to me and I want to share it to you. So I don't know if this is the back or the front, but it says start where you are. I don't know if you can read that. And then this is what it says. And I want to read it. It says, the great thing about feeling deep, profound, earth shaking love is that you can start with anyone. Then it says, next, the universe. I think that's so beautiful. And honestly, if I reflect on this card, you can have earth shaking love and you can start with anyone. And I would challenge you to start with yourself. And then the next card that I think I want to read, it says you have more options than you realize. And then it says, it sure is hard to get really angry at someone when you can think of all the reasons you love them. This is so true. And you can, the universe. So I want to reflect on this card for just a second. It says, it sure is hard to get really angry at someone when you can think of all the reasons you love them. And you can. It's a little, the ending's a little confusing for me, but the gist of this card is that you forget about why you're angry with someone and you can think of all the reasons you love them when you have love for someone. So all of that kind of goes out the window. And I think that was a part of today's rebuilding of a connection that was lost. And I don't know what is going to happen going forward, but I do know that a rebuilding of a connection was there today. And in that rebuilding of a connection, they both my parents forgot all the reasons why they were angry at each other. And then the last card that I pulled or that fell out was basically always follow your heart. It says you have what it takes. And then the card says, always follow your heart unless it's been broken. Then you must lead it back into love. Then it says, P.S. Did you know that hearts are never too big to mend, too small to rebound, or too tired to love again? Wow. That is the perfect card to end on because that is the exact event that occurred today. Was that no matter how much the heart has been broken, it's never too big to mend, it's never too small to rebound, and it's never too tired to love again. So maybe there's a newness to there's always going to be a newness to love. Love can look differently. Love can be new again and can look differently in different ways. And it doesn't have to be such a big expression. It's the little actions, it's the little choices that are made that can be found to create love in a different way. It's the little decisions that can be made to create a new kind of love. So, yeah, so I'm going to end here and just thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. I know I can be long-winded, but um, it's what I need to be able to express my thoughts, my ideas, my notions, and it allows spirit to speak through me. So I wanted to say thank you again, and I will see you in the next video. And I hoped this video resonated with whoever's watching and helps you in some way. Okay, take care. Bye.